Can you imagine a training system so brutal, so effective, that even Roman generals feared it, studied it, and wondered if they could ever replicate it? A program where boys were taken from their families at just 7 years old and molded daily into perfect warriors, immune to hunger, cold, pain, and fear. While you struggle to understand how to gain discipline and strength today, the Spartans mastered this secret thousands of years ago. And behind Rome's glory, there's a Greek shadow few ever talk about. Yes, Sparta forged warriors so legendary that even the Roman Empire tried to copy their system. In this video, you'll uncover how the Spartan Agoge directly influenced the Roman Empire's military culture and how its legacy still echoes in today's world. Get ready to explore the most feared training system of the ancient world. But before we dive into this incredible story and explore every detail of Spartan discipline alongside the history of the Roman Empire, make sure you're subscribed to our channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos full of historical curiosities about the ancient world. Have you ever stopped to think how a single lawmaker could shape the entire mentality of a people to the point of influencing the Roman Empire itself? The starting point, the legacy of Lycurgus. The name of Lycurgus frequently appears in Plutarch's writings, where he is described as a visionary capable of perceiving his people's weaknesses and transforming them into strength. According to these narratives, Lycurgus understood that the foundation of a warlike nation could not be based on luxury or excess, but rather on the practice of discipline, resilience, and cooperation. From this understanding, he supposedly established the Agoge in Sparta, an educational system that began in childhood. Although there are disagreements regarding the exact historicity of Lycurgus, what is known is that his supposed laws revolutionized the city and consequently shaped future generations. Some Roman Empire officers studied Greek history to seek tactical and cultural inspiration. Many were impressed by the account of how Spartan children learned from an early age to endure pain, cold, and hunger without complaint, a quality that the rigid Roman military discipline also valued. While Herodotus recounts the heroic deeds of the Spartans in wars against other Greek peoples and foreigners, writers such as Xenophon reinforce the idea that blind obedience to the law was central to the formation of Spartan citizens. This obedience was, in many respects, reminiscent of how Roman soldiers submitted to their commanders' orders. Thus, it becomes clear how Lycurgus's model influenced cultures far beyond the borders of the Peloponnese. What if the Romans had found in Sparta a practical example of total focus on warfare, inspiring their own expansion? The society of Sparta and the Roman Fascination. Spartan society was unique. While other Greek city-states valued art, philosophy, and commerce, Sparta focused on creating the perfect military elite. At the age of 7, children left their families to join the Agoge program. There, they learned not only how to fight and withstand adversity, but also the importance of placing the group above the individual. This culture of collectivity, where personal will was subordinated to the common good, would echo for centuries in the way Roman legions were organized. Roman Empire officers, always attentive to the strategies of peoples that excelled in battle, frequently compared their own legion training to Spartan rigor. The use of shields, compact formations, and intense daily marching practice was very similar to what was seen in Sparta. Everything was designed with victory in mind. The key difference was that in Rome, the citizen soldier also held political functions and land rights, whereas in Sparta, life was almost entirely devoted to military activity. Herodotus and Xenophon record that this obsession with war made Sparta an almost unquestionable power on the battlefield, at least as long as it maintained its hegemony. Later, when Alexander the Great and subsequently the Romans established themselves as dominant powers, many wondered, had they adopted part of that Spartan spirit to conquer the ancient world? In fact, the belief in discipline and rigorous training was a fundamental pillar for Rome's success, and some claim that the seed of this idea was already present in Sparta. Can you imagine an educational system so extreme that even the Romans wouldn't dare to impose it on all of their citizens? Agoge, the forge of warriors. The Agoge was not merely physical training, but a moral and intellectual formation aimed at forging individuals ready to defend their homeland at any cost. The first phase began with basic exercises, learning to survive on a controlled diet and to endure corporal punishment. In the Roman Empire, there was military training, but it was generally applied only to volunteers and recruits. In contrast, in Sparta, every child deemed fit was introduced to this iron routine. During adolescence, as Xenophon reports, the rigor increased. Food deprivation, tolerated theft, as long as they were not caught, and cold water baths, all were meant to awaken cunning, resilience, and endurance. Interestingly, in the Roman context, legionaries also carried heavy loads and marched immense distances. Still, the comprehensiveness of the Agoge was impressive because it was not limited to the barracks. It was a way of life. This second phase of the Agoge was, in Spartan mentality, an intermediary step on the journey to becoming full citizens. Meanwhile, on the other side of the Mediterranean, Roman officers admired the Spartans' courage, but knew that their own empire possessed a broader structure. After all, Rome embraced engineering, roads, and internal politics without being so strictly militaristic. Even so, the Agoge was viewed almost as a living myth of military perfection. Would you like to discover why constant competition within Sparta was seen as so decisive that even the Romans took notice? Competitiveness and collective pride. In Sparta, when young Spartans reached the final phase of the Agoge, the trainers intensified the competitive spirit. Everything became a contest. Who ran fastest, who jumped the farthest, who was most skilled with the spear. This tension kept the warriors on high alert and sparked continuous improvement in their performance. Some Roman historians, impressed by what they read, wrote that if Rome could apply the same method to its recruits, perhaps its legions would be even more unyielding. In addition to combat sports, competitions in war dance, such as the famous Pyrrhichios, made it clear that body and mind were in perfect harmony. It was not uncommon for visitors from other ancient cultures, including Roman and Greek delegates, to be amazed by the choreographed discipline. Plutarch describes that the solemnity and unity among the Spartans were almost religious, reinforcing the idea of belonging to a greater group. Rome, for its part, used military triumphs and arena tournaments to boost the morale of its troops and entertain them. But while gladiators fought as a spectacle, the spirit of competition in Sparta possessed a sacred character. It prepared everyone for the defense of the city without distractions. This collective pride was vital for maintaining internal cohesion, something that Roman leaders occasionally attempted to replicate in their military celebrations. What if we told you that Spartan influence in antiquity also involved female empowerment? The role of women and the example for the ancient world. In Sparta, women played a significant role, although it was often misunderstood by other Greek peoples and even by writers of the Roman Empire. They also engaged in physical exercise and were encouraged to cultivate healthy bodies, as it was believed that strong mothers would produce more vigorous children. In contrast, within the Roman mentality, although women could enjoy a certain degree of freedom during some periods, they did not receive a structured physical training like the Agoge. Herodotus records that many travelers were shocked to see Spartan women participating in running, discus throwing, and even playing a role in their children's education. This caught the attention of the Romans, who, although open to adopting beneficial foreign customs, did not adopt this more advanced method of female involvement. Nevertheless, this Spartan trait demonstrated a concern for the community as a whole, not just for future soldiers. This strong stance regarding women boosted the morale of Spartan society. After all, wives and daughters were not passive figures, but active participants in the ideal of the polis. For the Romans, this aspect was simultaneously fascinating and exotic. Although the majority of military roles were restricted to men in the Roman legions, some senators and officers admired the family cohesion that this philosophy appeared to foster. Have you ever wondered how this unique view of discipline and unity influenced later societies? If you're enjoying this journey, leave a like now so we can continue bringing you impactful stories about the ancient world. Get ready, because now we're going to see how Sparta, once invincible, came face to face with an even more gigantic and organized force, the Roman Empire itself. From Greek hegemony to the rise of Rome, at the height of its glory, Sparta confronted other Greek peoples, such as Athens and Thebes, and achieved memorable victories that left a lasting mark on history. However, after countless internal wars and the rise of great conquerors like Alexander the Great, Spartan hegemony began to fade. Greece as a whole eventually integrated into the Hellenistic world and later was absorbed by the Romans. Plutarch and Xenophon record this decline with regret, highlighting how even the best educational system could not withstand unfavorable political and economic factors. When Rome expanded throughout the Mediterranean, it discovered valuable cultural, philosophical, and military knowledge in the Greek region. Although the Agoge was still respected, its practice had weakened during the period of Roman dominance. Nevertheless, writings about Sparta and Lycurgus continued to be studied, inspiring debates in Rome about morality, virtue, and discipline. Some generals even considered adapting elements of the Spartan model for their own legions. Still, the truth is that the Roman military machine did not rely on a single educational system, but rather on a combination of political, economic, and logistical strategies. With roads, military posts, and Roman citizenship as its foundations, Rome conquered and maintained a vast empire. Sparta, on the other hand, became part of a larger historical narrative, providing valuable examples of tenacity and courage that inspired future generations. Would you like to uncover the secrets of how some historians of that time compared Spartan rigor with Roman organization? The historian's perspective on military discipline. Herodotus often described the Spartan valor in battle, emphasizing these warriors' ability to remain steadfast even when outnumbered. He praised the cool-headedness of the Spartan army, which, in certain respects, resembled the Roman legions. Meanwhile, Plutarch, writing later, directly compared the Spartan tradition to the values he observed in Rome, such as the concept that the law is above all. Xenophon, drawing on his military experience, admired the discipline present in both civilizations. He noted that the Agoge produced warriors capable of withstanding the worst scenarios, just as Roman conscription produced soldiers with unwavering morale who could fight in drastically different climates, from the dark mists of Britannia to the arid lands of Egypt. This similarity in military thought clearly demonstrated a cross-cultural influence. For us, observing everything through the lens of the present, it is astonishing to note how these two cultures, separated by time and space, shared an almost religious devotion to duty. The logic was, if a citizen or soldier grows up adhering to an unyielding code, he becomes virtually unstoppable in combat. And what keeps this spirit alive are precisely the records of classical historians. Don't go away just yet, because the influence of Sparta and Rome extends beyond the battlefield and into the way of governing. Cultural and political legacies. Beyond war tactics, the way Sparta structured its gerontocracy, government of elders, was also scrutinized by the Romans and other ancient peoples. Some senators in Rome were interested in this Spartan council of elders, the Gerousia, as they believed that the wisdom of the older generation could prevent corruption. Conversely, the Caesars followed a more autocratic style, yet they still admired Sparta's cultural cohesion. The Spartan moral rigor, which encouraged detachment from material possessions, in some way reflected the Roman ideal of virtues, the virtue of duty, courage, and honor. Many Roman aristocrats saw in the Spartan example a reminder of the purest values before they were corrupted by the luxury of great cities. This spurred philosophical discussions about the necessity of austerity to maintain the fighting spirit. However, Rome eventually blended so many cultures, Celtic, Greek, Egyptian among others, that the Spartan legacy became diluted amid these influences. Still, the idea of selflessness for the collective good and the emphasis on military discipline served as the foundation for a series of military reforms across various eras. All of this proves that the seed planted by Lycurgus was not confined within the walls of Sparta. How about exploring how other nations and ancient peoples, including the Persians and Egyptians, viewed the rivalry and mutual admiration between Sparta and Rome? Sparta and Rome in the eyes of ancient peoples. For the Persians, who faced both Greeks and Romans at different points in history, Sparta represented an impressive force, albeit one limited in territorial scope. Rome, on the other hand, was an empire in constant expansion. Eastern records indicate that Sparta's martial virtues were legendary, but Rome's organizational structure was considered almost unbeatable in the long run. Thus, each had its distinct military value. The Egyptians, who were absorbed into the Roman Empire after the conquests by Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, and earlier influenced by Alexander the Great, noticed the difference in styles. While Sparta was inspiring for its display of individual bravery, Rome excelled with its enduring collective strategies. It is as if the Spartan spirit were a brief, intense flash of lightning, whereas the Roman spirit was an unrelenting storm. In this way, ancient peoples around the Mediterranean witnessed for centuries the clash and fusion of military cultures. Over time, what was uniquely Spartan, such as the Agoge, became a subject of study in Roman academies. And the very idea of building citizenship through common duty formed the basis for many regional legislations, reminding us that an empire or city can only stand upon solid pillars of discipline. And now we arrive at the crucial moment. How does all this shared heritage of Sparta and Rome still resonate in our modern world? The legacy that echoes and concludes our journey. Sparta imparted to the world the notion that a small people, yet extremely disciplined, could become incomparably strong. Rome demonstrated that large-scale organization, combined with a flexible and open structure to new ideas, could dominate vast territories. In studying this interaction, we realize that the history of the Roman Empire is not isolated. It engages in a dialogue with the Greek, Spartan, and many other influences, proving that knowledge and culture are intertwined. From Lycurgus, we inherited the myth of the lawmaker who completely transformed a society. From Rome, we inherited the practical understanding that military strength needs an economic, political, and legal foundation to endure. Ultimately, Plutarch, Herodotus, and Xenophon left us with invaluable accounts that continue to inspire and educate us today. If you think about it, you will see that many modern institutions are still influenced by these ideals of discipline and organization. Thus, we conclude our journey for today, uniting what Sparta represented with how the Roman Empire assimilated and surpassed this model of military discipline. If you enjoyed this trip back in time, leave a like, share with your friends, and comment on which part caught your attention the most. Want to continue exploring the history of the Roman Empire and other ancient peoples? Subscribe to our channel. Now, as we have many historical adventures waiting for you, thank you for joining us. See you in the next video.